Stars play their Midsummer Classic in the Pacific Northwest. It's the best from the International League taking on the Pacific Coast League All-Stars from Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, Washington. The AAA All-Star festivities go from one end of the U.S. to the other. While the Major Leaguers played their All-Star game last night in South Florida, the AAA All-Stars play their Midsummer Classic in the Pacific Northwest. It's the play to the Seattle Mariners. The Tacoma Rainiers play host to the 30th annual AAA All-Star game. And with that, we say hello again, everybody, and welcome inside the broadcast booth. Paul Severino, former Major Leaguer Bill Ripken, and Jim Callis from MLBpipeline.com. It's been a fun All-Star week. It started, of course, with the Futures game in Miami on Sunday. Some of those players made the long trip here to Tacoma, so we'll be able to see them throughout the night. And there is so much talent in this game every year, but no matter what way you break it down, it seems like we're even more stacked this year than in years past.
Right here, like doing science with me. Yeah. And we're just going to have fun on the field and do it all.
Lastly, what's one thing you want to accomplish in this All-Star game as you look ahead to the major leagues?
I mean, I want to accomplish that I can play this level, and I will show everybody out here in the West Coast what I've been doing in the International League.
Ozzie, thanks so much for the time. Paul?
Michelle and Ozzie, thanks. We'll step aside when we come back. Lineups and first pitch from Tacoma. The 30th annual AAA All-Star Game is next. Welcome back to the 30th annual AAA All-Star Game here at Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, Washington, with Bill Ripken, MLB Pipeline senior writer Jim Callis, and Michelle McMahon. I'm Paul Severino, moments away from the first pitch here in Tacoma. Just a beautiful night in a beautiful ballpark that is one of the oldest in AAA from 1960, although it did undergo a $30 million renovation in 2010 to update parts of it. But it is a charming ballpark here in the Pacific Northwest. So just moments away from the first pitch here. And we are excited to bring it to you, the 30th annual AAA All-Star Game. Here is a look at the International League and their starting lineup as put together by Al Pedrigue, the manager of the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. And when you look at the Pacific Coast League, first in all of AAA in strikeouts with 119 compared to 26 walks, pitching in his first AAA All-Star game.
Actually leads the entire minor leagues in strikeouts, and he's an interesting guy. I mean, he was signed way back in 2007 and was throwing 98, 99 miles an hour back then. Had Tommy.
The St. Louis Cardinals farmhand behind home plate. Digging in to lead things off for the International League is Ozzie Albies at second base tonight, 20-year-old in the Braves system. And he digs in to face Wilmer Font, and we are underway. First pitch swinging down the left field line. Going out is Rosario, but making the catch is Nunez. One pitch and one away here in the first.
And I know
a moment ago is that batter's eye could get a little iffy right about now.
Yeah, it's a couple different tones out there with a little bit of shine. And you can see the shadow that's the hitter standing and the pitcher's in bright sunlight.
And just enough space in foul ground for Garrett Cooper. 2 outs on 3 pitches for Wilmer Font.
It's a nice play right there. Eased his way on over. You know, sometimes the rule of thumb is to go find the wall first. But in this particular case, I think he had a bead on it. He had an idea where that camera was out of the corner of his eye. That's a nice little catch.
Able to straddle the pole there and make the play for out number 2. And now it's Danny Hayes, the first baseman. He too is aggressive with a liner to left field. 4 pitches in the first inning for Wilmer Font. 3 up and 3 down for the International League. A quick 4-pitch top of the first inning for Wilmer Font. So Tom Eshelman will try to match that. A great look there at Mount Rainier here in Tacoma, Washington on a beautiful night. 77 degrees for the 30th annual AAA All-Star Game. Paul Severino, Bill Ripken, Jim Callis with Michelle McMahon down on the field. Eshelman throws the first pitch low and in to Ahmed Rosario. A ball and no strikes.
You're not going to see too many balls out of this guy. He's the greatest control pitcher, guys, in the history of NCAA Division I. Set a record as a freshman, 0.2 walks per 9 innings at Cal State Fullerton, 0.4 for his entire career He's got 14 this year in 107 innings, leading the International League in ERA and runners per 9 innings.
1-1 in on the hands is fought off by Rosario, the shortstop in the New York Mets system. 21 years old, ranked as the Mets' best prospect, third best in all of baseball, according to MLBpipeline.com. And now the 1-2 pitch is inside, 2-2. One of a handful or so of players who made the long trip from Miami in the Futures game on Sunday back here to Tacoma. Sends this one out toward deep right field, but there will be room for Chris Bostic a couple of steps in front of the track, and there is one away. You've met Ahmed Rosario, put together by Tony DeFrancisco. After Rosario is Derek Fisher and then Christian Walker. And when you look at this lineup,
certainly coming back. He's certainly coming back and finding the strike zone, but 3 first pitch ball ones.
Popped up right side. Albies gives way to the right fielder Bostic, who puts it away. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings in the top end, bottom of the first here in Tacoma. Through 1, scoreless.
His command and control have improved as he's climbed the ladder, and he's kind of found a niche as a reliever.
Poked out toward deep right center field, giving chase, looking up, and it's over the wall for a home run. Richie Schaefer with a leadoff homer in the second.
Well, he's done that a few times this year. He's third in the International League with 18 homers, second in the International League with 62 RBIs, and that's the power that made him a first-round pick a few years ago.
That's just a nice swing right there. That ball's up and out over the plate, smashes the ball to right center field. That nice backspin.
Welcome back to Tacoma. To the bottom of the second we go. Willie Calhoun, Garrett Cooper, and Colin Moran due up. Paul Severino, Bill Ripken, and Jim Callis here in the broadcast booth. Down on the field, the fourth member of our broadcast team, Michelle McMahon, with Carson Kelly. Michelle.
Paul, thank you. Carson, why is this a particularly special All-Star game for you?
Oh, because I'm back home. You know, I got a lot of family and friends here. I mean, a couple-hour drive, so it's very special to be out here and play in front of them.
Of the conditions.
To shallow right center field, twisting around a bit is Albies, but he puts it away for out number 2.
They couldn't work out a deal. They wound up with Carlos Correa. Worked out pretty nicely.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
And Moran drills one to right field, and it is gone. A line drive home run for Colin Moran. We are tied at 1.
Well, that's why the Astros wanted him.
That's what I was going to say, Jim. Now we know why they wanted him so bad.
But the thing was, if they could not have worked out a deal, if Appel had proven tough to negotiate with in 2013, they would have taken Colin Moran #1 overall over Chris Bryant, another college third baseman. They made a point of trading for him a year after the Marlins drafted him. And he's really had kind of an up-and-down career with the Astros, but putting it together this year in AAA. Last year he had 259 with 10 homers the whole season. This year he didn't really hit for power. He has changed his approach this year, and he's having a lot more success.
Nunez, fly ball, left center field. It will be the left fielder, Bryce Brentz, to put it away. The solo home run for Colin Moran has tied things up. Matching solo shots in the second. 1-1.
Calling all kids.
Deal with the Dodgers. Cousin of Brandon Snyder, nephew of Brian Snyder, as Bostic flies this one out toward right field. In comes Alex Verdugo to make the catch. And a 1-2-3 fourth inning for Youngener. Still tied at 1. Severino, Bill Ripken, Jim Callis up here in the broadcast booth. And Michelle McMahon down on the field. First pitch swinging, a pop-up toward the right field line. Moving over is Bostic, and he has just enough room to retire Christian Walker. Willie Calhoun and Garrett Cooper to follow, but right now down to the field. Long throw from Bostic was a little bit off the mark, but a double nonetheless for Calhoun. He is in scoring position with one away here in the bottom of the fourth. And Cooper lines one into left field, a base hit. Calhoun around third. The throw is cut off. And it's a 2-1 lead for the PCL on the RBI by Garrett Cooper. 2 on and 1 out for Renato Nunez. And Nunez down the left field line. Gone! A 3-run home run for Renato Nunez. And the PCL is up 5-1.
Well, that's your minor league home run leader. He's got 24 this year, so not a surprise. That's by far his best tool. Big pull power, he showed it off there. That got out quickly.
Paul Severino, Bill Ripken, Jim Callis of MLBpipeline.com up here in the broadcast booth. Michelle McMahon down in the field. The backdrop of Mount Rainier here in Tacoma, Washington. A 5-1 lead for the PCL as Gene Machi takes over as the 5th pitcher. Each one of their guys has gone just 1 inning so far. He's pitched in, he's saved 10 games, I should say, for the hometown Rainiers so far. A guy that's got some big league time under his belt. And he will face 8, 9, and 1 for the International League. Willie Adames, Mike Margera, or Mike Marjama, I should say, and Ozzie Albies.
And not just big league time, he's got a World Series ring. He was a pretty good pitcher out of the bullpen for the Giants in 2013 and 2014. Made 7 postseason appearances in that latter year when the Giants won their 3rd World Series of the decade. Hasn't been as effective since. Kind of an average fastball. He's 92, 93. Fastball splitter guy. He'll mix in a slider at times.
Line to right field and hit well. And over the right field wall for a home run. Willie Adames makes it 5-2. Well, the home runs that have gotten out in this game have gotten out quickly. Low liners.
And that one, because we've seen some decent home runs right there, that one might have been the most impressive right there. I didn't think that had any shot.
Skills competitions because it isn't real competition.
You guys make terrific points. You can take the foot off the pedal a little bit in the other games. You can't really do that without embarrassing yourself.
Right.
No pitcher wants to take 3 weak hacks, but that's not.
We saw a little of that last year.
We did. This one squirts away from Stassi, and hustling down to first is Castillo, and he will reach on the strikeout and wild pitch with 2 outs here in the 5th.
Figured if it's the tying run at home plate right now, we've already demonstrated that he can go deep. I'm going to start him with a breaking ball. This is going to be a tough play.
Schaefer sends it out to right field, and it is down to 1-hop the wall. One run will score. Here comes the throw. It's cut off, and he's in there with an RBI double. 2nd hit of the night for Schaefer, and it's 5-3.
I'm chiming in on you got to hurry because what we've seen so far on any play that the outfielders have made, all of them look like they have pretty good arms.
Alex Verdugo has.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the Pacific Coast League ends a 4-game All-Star Game drought with a 6-4 victory over the International League. And only in the Pacific Northwest can you have a night game and finish it before sunset. What a night it was here. In 2 hours and 40 minutes, the Pacific Coast League with a 6-4 win over the International League. And again, as we mentioned before, this was a bit different than in years past. It matches what's going on in the major leagues now as they have taken the home field advantage component out of the All-Star game. They did that in the big leagues. They announced the change at the AAA level earlier today. So this one, as I said before, for lack of a better phrase, was just for fun. But as you guys mentioned, there's really no other way to play baseball than at full bore, really.
There really isn't. And with this trade.
Patrick Leonard, his team's losing. Of course he wants to swing the bat and make something happen, but he draws 2 walks. And I just thought it was a well-played All-Star game. Sometimes they can get a little sloppy, But this was a well-played All-Star game.
And as we mentioned in the Open, in years past, there's, from our end, I'll let you in behind the curtain here, we get about 7 different roster updates throughout the weeks leading up to the game. And the first time you open up the roster, it's loaded. And then kind of as the weeks go on, guys get called up, there may be an injury here or there, and the AAA All-Star game sometimes it gets fleeced a little bit with the talent. This was not the case at all. There were 9 top 100 prospects on the rosters coming into this game, and looking up and down here, a bunch of guys playing in their first or maybe second, and it was only a handful of guys playing in their second AAA All-Star game. And again, that's a theme that we talk about at the big league level all the time. There's so much young talent in the game at the big league level, and so much more here at the AAA level that was, fortunately for us, able to stay here through this game.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
And they got a chance to really, impact some of the clubs that they get either traded to or they get brought up. But that was a well-played game, and there's no doubt the young talent was on display today.
And a really excellent setting as well here at Cheney Stadium. Right now it's time for the MVP announcements. Let's send it down to the public.
Coast League's Renato Nunez of the Nashville Sounds. And International League's Richie Schaefer of the Columbus Clippers. Nunez went 1 for 4 with 1 home run and 3 runs batted in. Schaefer went 2 for 3 with 1 home run and 2 runs batted in. In addition to this